We're here in ShadowBox Gallery, and I'm looking at Now I Only Slip When Provoked. Um, it's a dangerous looking piece, but very intriguing. And Lou, I'd love to hear your thoughts about either the meaning behind this piece or the method that you went through to create it, and some of the cool stuff that's in here.
Yeah. So I think the meaning and the method kind of tie into one another. So I'll start more on the method side of things. Um, so I used it creating like a variety of metalworking techniques as far as the structure goes. And so the larger structure itself was bent and welded steel that I then grinded down with an angle grinder to give it kind of like a bone-like quality to the metal. And then the wire tube that's kind of pierced on top of it was created using bobbin lace making techniques. Um, and then that technique is kind of intense, so I'll go into a little bit more about like how that's worked. So bobbin lace making is like a method of lace making and weaving where you take wooden dowels called bobbins and you wind a length of thread, or in my case, wire, onto two bobbins, and then they act as a pair. And then you have this kind of it's usually called a pillow in front of you. Laces typically worked flat, but this one was actually a first experiment for me. In working the lace in like full 3D from the beginning, as opposed to using the wire and making it flat and then bending the lace into a certain form afterwards. Um, so it was kind of experimental because I'd never really done like the 3D from the beginning with it before. Um, and so you have your bobbins with that length of wire on there, and then you're weaving in a certain pattern that you've laid out for yourself. Around the kind of form. And then as you keep doing that, it just builds and builds upon itself. And then once you're done with your weaving, you are putting in pins along the way to kind of hold things in place. So you remove the pins and then you're able to remove the lace itself from the thing that you've created it on. Um, the other thing that I was working with here was using my own hair as a material. I really was approaching this piece as if I was like thinking about the body and abstracting the body. And so, in a very literal sense, I was thinking of the steel structure as bone and this wire lace as a kind of skin. But because these were such like abstract kind of references, I brought in my own hair as the material as like a very clear signifier of like this isn't just like these cold metallic kind of surfaces, like there is life and energy and that kind of like humanness to it as well. Um yeah.
Well, this bobbin, the bobbin, what do you call it? Bobbin lace
Bobbin
making.
lace. Yeah.
It, you mentioned that it's kind of put together, and then as you take away kind of the holding infrastructure, I almost
Mhm.
would love to see a in process video of that, because that just seems like it would be the thing that everybody, if you ever see any work in process videos, people love seeing some of that stuff. My question really is that a cool thing, or is it non factor?
I think it would be pretty cool, but it would definitely need to be a time lapse video, I think, to be
Yes.
interesting at all, because it is a pretty slow, methodical process.
Yeah.
But I think, at least on the making side of it, like once you get into a rhythm, it really just, I mean, with any making, it just seems like it flies by.
Well, Lou, thank you so much for taking the time to take us through this. And are you going to make it up to the open? Will you be in the area?
Yeah, I'll be at the reception.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.